Say, if you say tax a yearly tenor, and you know, dear bro. Cause tax a BB a kind home, 10 year, it drew 15th April, a finana, yes, say tax acquires a DNA ID. Especially, there are some countries we will won't mean P 1 day crabra, own your tax when you man, won't your tax. And yet, yearly 10. There was also the a part of everyday life from sales tax to our store. I could see income tax. I hold you up who paychecks. See, tax it provided the necessary fund among government to your friends government services from the national level all the way to like programs to say social security, military spending, local services like school, roads, this animal na. A common for so much yes animal say roads every penny animal na a task a crack cromodigi and as a tax a tuiano and a moment yes. Yeah, there are some 6 main taxes via and a boy home, be the income tax, and only baby go through and income tax, consumption tax, property tax, payroll tax, your capital gains, tax, and world transfer tax. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Paradigm Shift. My name is Patrick Murphy. Here we teach you how to dramatically improve the quality of your life. And then you share in tax season. You share how this week and this month we'll be talking a lot about taxes because taxes in the dry be filing. It will say it make a some yes. It and I share topics from Coca Creviso. Before see no mighty bibika kra efa hano timi twa me ho aba me ba na ya ba beka your friend saying ya become more of the taxes the same. And that topic no hidden tax traps, the type of taxes nobody talk about, and then hidden tax traps, the types of taxes nobody talks about. Say, if you say tax a yearly tenor, and you know dear bro, cause tax. A BB a kind home, 10 year. A yearly 10, said the BIC James say, I drew 15th April, a finana, yes, say, in a tiny bit running home to pray, and I say it drew January, February, and your home to pray, say was easy fun. Yes, I did. Tax acquires a DNA ID, especially there are some countries we will won't mean P 1 day crabra. Own your tax when you man, won't your tax. And yet, yearly 10. There was also the show a part of everyday life, from sales tax to your store, I could see income tax. I hold you up with paychecks. See, tax a provided the necessary fund among government to your friends government services from the national level all the way to like programs to say social security, military spending, local services like school, roads, this animal now. A common for so much yes animal and I say roads every penny animal now task a cracker chromology and that's a tax a tweetiano and a moment yes. Yeah, there are some 6 main taxes via and a boy home. Be the income tax, and only be go through and income tax, consumption tax, property tax, payroll tax, your capital gains, tax, and world transfer tax. Hey, world transfer so tax who? The USA progressive tax become massive on a federal level, no. Progressive, I mean, it's a sika unyan and as a taxa ye till no income no so no and yet round figure say be a till tax a friend say ye till tax back or pay a walk sika ni na so it depend each near the co near the so from if I say 0 all the way to maybe 37%, depending on maybe I want answer from 0 to 20%, depending on category or womb. MC Akasas and Honda. We'll call your friend saying, Patrick YouTube channel. Yes, taxes in category of women signing now or by like I said, this week here, if I become tax this month actually become more of taxes. Hey, do said long term, we a long term investor, we will be on your tax break or capital gain 7 year capital gain because investments are all why depending on say you see within 12 months and that's a 1 year or below that's a short term generally or tax and they come back to like income and I earn more than 100 years so invest in more than a year so and also near capital gains also no the category A different it said the American if we a tax the April 15 for no we there any over Jehumbium. The 10% ma o drains and say we start say we drains na obi hu say obi say tax system and as the way we start a drain tax no hu say obi say ya betimi aboa. The tax here bibia e kan ho de bia. Hardly I be obi say abonten a we ka say wontimi tua tax. Ti say the okwo man tabakeke and then they make quite you make coffee, to be for what about the actual so receipts and so don't send CTS won't say be also sales tax be also. Paychecks so buy so won't say taxes be also. Hey, and no cry the taxes na different be these are some of the things that they are you go through. Hey, oh ton or dying cry na so tax soon. Oh, just a baby. And apart from what today we cry and so tax room, sometimes that tax now what dining now would piano, yana share a friends and mortgage now would and to go crowd and so be piano, be cacao. Sometimes it go any straightforward, the far baby depend on be up near federal crown state, baby go hard between a cocofa that will say to you. Until you cast a tax exactly per any day. A national be an asset tax a mandate payment be a quality. Government energy, every individual business, our government to be running yama or the crew said na make Kalian. And it would be no pay tax to you, be no because tax the mutual aim at the intimacy tax would be no this amano. Hey, but at the same time, tax be a said account, a bomb to be a crony, never be brave, say important government different services are benefit the brain. Tax ya omoji na tax ya itiano and the money to me provide this animal na the tax revenue funded business social security benefits, so many things, military spending, those things now, money away, quiet to two and near day, to paying taxes is not it will be a responsibility. So at least also ultimately our part also portion also ultimately. It would and as you are as a citizen, also ultimately your part contribute to part. It's taxes no. Untria mo bi hunu kwasa utria ama abeye bibia boa also onam kwan so yi kwan ntutu kama but say them kind be any hwa na ni je ho so utria taxes. It main type of taxes na dey, what are the main types of taxes? Taxes are in shapes, but now boil down to these categories. One, income tax. I come from that. Consumption tax, property tax, payroll tax, capital gains, and wealth transfer tax. These are tax I would try but could be nobody we be seen. Womb. It's income tax. Income tax. Income tax. Mostly a primary source of revenue for a federal government. Income tax say as earn income. We a juma na say na ya tax. A juma we no ska unya na government we need the free. It's income tax. Say they can share primarily federal government there. On a mus the sika be pre free. It's o charge o bibi bia unya. A friend say earn income so na yeji a free, including wages, interest income. This money na some cry no even ya retire na benefits na or retirement, social security cry. Sometimes you are tax so depending on your situation. The general income tax there account for most of taxes I'll be each year. Now the more I will make the more also I will pay taxes. The more I will make it, the more I will pay. So federal income tax, I said mostly federal government na budget or collect it from individual or from profit or business throughout the year. How much I will be triano saying now make year. But income in and taxing is say example make 50,000 your brackets or what send CN. The range from 10% all the way to 37% earn income. The taxes within a range of 10% to 37%. Say them kind China Monday High Life Radio 7 p.m. You be go more into detail in the percentages in the CN and the end the types of taxes. China be go in depth near co account even the big the big beautiful bill. New tax bill na aban. See BC a boy. See BC taking advantage of all those things. Let's go back to the economy. The tax bracket, it determine your tax rate, earn income from 10% to 37%, and how much you pay, depending on the bracket now. It is 24% tax bracket. For example, income tax be not all income. If I say we make 50,000. Now, 24. If I so make 100,000 now, so it costs 24% income tax a year rate. And just say 100,000 yet in the 24%. Remember, I can say progressive. Progressive means say some portion be the best at a portion at the answer. It is some will be from the first one be from say 10%. This year, I'm saying from 12,000. Not exact. In fact, from 12,000. 12,000 10% in the bit. But before then, it was standard deduction will be government fee say you might be on my go through. Would you seek a shame and answer would yeah. Also to use free this year is about 16,000 something. Like I said, it's not precise, it's around that side. I'll be going in depth next different section. It be 400,000, you start here too. You be standard deduction every month. Now bit my time I so you can now once but and then you can't see free man see standard deduction if you say standard deduction is 10,000 now 90,000. From 90,000 the first 12,000 it be a 10%. Maybe a free 12,000 all the way to maybe 34. It be at 12%. Ne kwa kusi it be at 24%. It is the last percentage now when you tell and then you say they are can say that range no. But in total also the actual one now fast as can now divided by that percentage now we won't say in actuality no percentage no ABI 24%, but can in Abu say percentage maybe ABI 50. These are examples I'm making near exact numbers na member. The income that will be tax lax no, which is emphasis 24%. And like I said, that's why the system is called a progressive because you na taxes. So the federal tax no state tax so states need be almost at payroll almost income tax. Local income tax. Because remember, I can some unity as so how states in the brown ma Sako a Quatesania man. Bureaucrana city counties no class ako a company. Tibuok states no one it was who city out in an county out in Crown almost be a in the pie. It's not taxes here BBA one share Buhunum not would pay by 50%. It was all wise up now making sure say as much as the debate will be and the equabia before so bit me legally no what to pay money. So most states collected their own income tax on top of Uncle Sam and federal government here. States variation also different. Some states takes a friend say takes or do a standard say rate and flat rate to be a 3%, a 3%, regardless of holding progressive, regardless if a friend say we make it 20,000, we make it 100,000, we at 3% standard and a flat and one. No, that's some states usually different. State like Louisiana, I'm saying 3% throughout. State like California, different. I'm saying from 1% to by 13.3%. So it depends on your state too, and also a state at your federal income tax, your state income tax, state and local, because sometimes locals no so crack or esakotibi. So these are the type of taxes. The next one is consumption tax. Consumption tax for goods and services. Unlike income tax, based on your income or your earnings. Consumption tax are based on what you spend or you consume. There are three main types of consumption tax: your sales tax, your exercise tax, and your tariffs. And say tariffs be as popular because of opana tiama for kamwasempa. Just all na ba difference of person they will say anyway near kamwasem come more of the type of taxes. So sales tax a tax via said American a tax consumption tax that government and that's local government charge on the sale of goods and services. In other words, a tax nearma utum. Yet sika any and that's we save. Nearma auto. It's usually a percentage of the purchase price will be so. They can't deal what it is a cost maybe a macaco to be. If I say my quack to be $100, that's $100 now. I don't have a toy. That difference says sales tax that will be for that particular state in a 10%. That means a mixture 110%. So what I say 110%. It and only the difference is sales tax and that is under consumption tax. It would no tax on top of that. Now. A consumer and they pay that tax because on the SR purchase. business the budget tax at that time but 200 10% and go business no now business they look command the local government and answer the government or whatever baby was say no the call the tax rate depend on the state beyond any day I'm saying me state I'm say 6% depending on their auto and say Adriani be point something percent 0.5 was saying that say other things be nyama mentioned that near be 6%. I'm not sure. Me I just me check here. My right still be 10%. That's how it is. So that's the sales tax. You call exercise tax. Exercise tax. Also for consumption tax, but targeted to specific maybe product item and bibisa and services be. Mostly we say bibi be a say harmful. To say be a cigarette, it me targeting on near the tax be up to so. Say bit me ama, never wire de nebia, abuama, swati, ama, the way Uncle Fusu use no. I bringing it down. It's yeah, mostly no. Exercise tax, say, BB, I targeted for BB. Hey, those are some of the things. And yes, not say be a baby woman about phone call. Sometimes it depends on whatever it is. Now, it is exercise tax, no. They are hitting no. Those no so is some name be a boa local government and then sankrofo na no so no mutiminya sa omuso revenue kakra omuso betimi dia boa states near them and that say be a cigarette say be a soda you know be a alcohol we say we be when ya na say wo hwa di pa na we say states na most states utimi say aduane ye be 2% woto alcohol be 12% be 10% omo boa say omo try say make sure say because we say alcohol be harmful to the body say onu bebre a be betimi adu be betimi sell and as a cigarette and as a soda too much sugar you know ti omo try say betimi and as be services like gambling you know these are specific one the exercise one targeted to some specific you know including sports betting this money na. Those are the things. The last one I want consumption tax. Tariffs. Tariffs tax be imposed by a offensive government. Goods on imported ones from another country, mostly from another country. The tariffs are paid by the companies. But guess what? As a minimum company, that's a makako to be. That's a tariffs man cost. At the end, who is going to pay? The consumer. Because maybe the makako to consumer also. A consumer switch. Man, finding your crowns no so crana, any percentage be or so on sweat. So, yes, usually terrorists that's Tina, terrorist cost money, I'm a boy, and you may be free outside a backroom piano. As fixed as you know, that fee, you know, that is how it's here. That revenue made through terrorists no goes to the government of that imported country. Tariffs no money man cost near the government no when na go you say what did you be so cheap be my 2000 sana man for ka him say be so e ba so e wa ne ma boy dey or person who in future be go so because o hwe ne ma say na esi abre these days ne ma say ne ma si akosoro na o my 2000 kra na wa my hwe because o ma ne ma boy dey dodo office obetim dey no compensate yet you know anyway. The tariff is placed on a country on a specific item that is you know, like consumption tax based on increase, you know, by increasing the cost of the imported item. Now, I feel no, my government so the episode there. Usually in tariffs, people try say countries be try say yes, some bit me reduce imported items into the country. On per se talk near me womb crew ankasa the importers usually no also import when they are to consumers so the moment tariffs ban air cost all of a sudden change every property tax MC property tax you know property tax so you be states ni be bridge states be on ma taxes on food on you know so many things. But all of a sudden, we say property tax was true. Your states be on state like your friend saying New Jersey say property tax was super other taxes and so we are the question say the city and the tax we free baby the question baby it's because the tax be utu mutanya dey am betwe bi and found restore auto gas so the auto gas will be auto gas I won't tange receipt be I won't tell but the opa could receipt na okay receipt craft for gas the be state taxes on it is already in there. The account that I can't send here to amount. It's any be a receipt crown so by whom TB account say gas need $2 $2.15 near that tax be a to swa a bico maybe federal bico state bico DSA bico transportation is animal in our home. So these are property tax property tax when it comes to property your house, your car, boat, businesses, so many of these properties are obetini properties no and also tax or some of them are also they depend on the state. Depend on the first one rare estate rare property tax. Rare property tax property tax was the friends rare estate on only fear like I said it be now who say because you mortgage now but tax bill ma shima wutia including even the land plan and see was utia tax let's say if you the BBB this is states be on ma open I'm say state of New Jersey say say land ye bury ni power so ye bury nipa was so geo tax them so the man be mama ko to ni dey ba ko be then Jesus so abra won tax so tie busia for anyway so these are property tax houses, condos, apartment, commercial buildings, those are real estate usually those taxes local government to and as a city county mostly the school district. And I said, making sure that public service or that may be the county this animal. It cost road repairs this animal because sometimes even local friends say local streets near then it be at the state maybe at the county they have to do their own repairs. And I said the police service or home they show fire department, those are the things that take it animal. So say them kind say fear. And you say be a utia mortgage now see the tax they share the tax share for ma but remember utia mortgage tax bill baby they are do account na the money so easy it's easy to pay what you own because already they are share dining when say utia tax especially property tax real estate tax so utia maybe a dining crown state and I say local government most people have gone through that process. So the next one is personal property tax. Personal property tax a car inventory moving on those things you car you almost stay on car tax office say no the state say state be car friends property tax on the car. Because our businesses, where inventory, they pay all that. If you require furniture, depends on the state and depends on the city. Taxes still be taxes but like I said, we have so many ways to try to avoid it. Most of them legally. Personal property tax, tax on inventory, tax on cars, equipment. Those are a personal one. Now, your payroll tax. Payroll taxes also a tax you pay and when your income tax and we are different your other taxes like defining social safeties net programs like social security need those things Medicaid unemployment insurance sometimes we go using the unemployment you've been paying already. We do stage be out himself why tight was so because you're telling now already a free sign man. The most common payroll tax USA Federal Insurance Contribution Act as factor taxes which include social security any your friends say Medicare taxes. The next one is social security taxes. Social security taxes a tax bia a force MOBia a 12.4%. So we are Juma Mobia Muchim Pepe Nipan for 6.2 now so for 6.2. But we are Juma Mwa you on a hook Nkwana Utria, which is a 12.4%. These are if I say social security and kasa taxa it taking care of about social security and so on. And the next one is Medicare tax. Medicare tax and also in come from Saneman and I think it's 2.9%. They share your friends saying use for a health insurance program for people who are already 65 and above. So already 65 and above, automatically you qualify for Medicare. Why? Because of that 2.9% now which we are already in a colon. T drawn ma waiting to qualify for those things now. And that is another one. Mostly that tax it goes higher than that when it's we making more than 200,000. I'm saying we an extra 0.9 or something account. So that's another one too. The next one is capital gains taxes. Capital gains said say category of things like taxi on one as a category found in so we juma necessity more in now category fall into your earning income we juma your portfolio income or talk capital your friends and talk investment in those shares, stocks, and animal capital gains. It become capital gains more than we invest in those things more than 12 months. Amount tax category is different. Money is different. Amount tax bracket is different. By below 12 months below it falls under the earned income. It falls under the earned income. It's your long term and short-term capital gain. Short-term to say they make go back to earned income, which is going to be 10%. Remember, earned income was 10% all the way to 37%. So, by long-term income, long-term capital gains near anything you invested in more than 12 months and above, and obey from 0.15 all the way up to 20. Quite remember, we were talking about that, whereby your first 50,000, you don't pay anything on it. Hey, you don't pay anything, and after that, let me say, all the way up to 500%, 500 something is about 15%. Then from 20%, I couldn't all the way to up to a billion, trillion, whatever. Hey, that is another one. Another one here, if you think here, there be wealth transfer tax. Tax in the Omunya, wealth transfer tax. You see another tax that I will see it here. To say, who could cry near so? Oh, wealth, no transfer, no, so no, I'll say a tax. It's money, and yes, simple, sir. So, and also, estate tax. Estate tax. The reason being, say, you must soon fast in our community now. Estate in Nuho, in Tiana, I dare so found be when in town. Say, by 2025, I'm say, so we have more than 13 point, almost 40 million, and I will transfer data. And I'm say percentage is about 40% or so, very high. By immigrant ma, a worth in law, Tibio Cranny and Dream Home. That is almost that inheritance tax, so inheritance tax, no, and also the same will transfer depending on the city, and so you have to pay taxes, even gift tax or the next one, so you have gift tax. As at this year, say it was 19,000. Yes, which will be Sika, which will be Sika, if you say where the scam, which will be Sika, near those things in the tax or between 19,000, which are more than that. My spouse, will be between 19, between 19. And yes, 50 could create another command. So the command I will say, which are tax on Tinino, ABB also, Unimsani, Nana, and money amount taxes. And money different. See, taxes will be also complicated, and this can complicated. But in then say, because of the way yente nyamase nti no amona be look say as a tax complicated this is complicated sir we hear tax book na it's kakra bi na government no bre ho no ma ye kra na was benefit from sa ne man but nam see yente ase nti de bia no na ifia you tax my way so we will be a would point be a opposite you know we pay and also opposite tax system to 2 year country solutions na ye more so many things we don't just go see your tax summon you fall throughout the year and you prepare also for taxes the way obviously ayo nyama holdings are opposite sinity free your friend saying opposite till nyama also prepare they also we say they kind of legally no so many people don't pay tax at all so many of them but they were fall into this say nyama in any be also you know also TS is a world building taxes are a part of it. Yes, a tax is a part of it. That's the reason why a scaffold be no fine we are taxes now. Why? Because taxes be no. So if you can keep that money, it goes a long way. So between investing also in more. The end we are between abo more timi ayewe. Unim. Patri solution between abo. No this year be file tax amount. Like I say, we file no apart from that, so no financially no. A boy never be apart from that. We give you free financial advice. We also, help you get out of debt. Your mortgages, there's so many things. This year, crown yes, teach AI. We will come to that. Teach AI. Say between your boy, I'm here free. Because your shit sending name is within a short time. You may change it. This is same me a day. One communicate with sending name is coming. Sunday crown your programmer you are talking about AI how AI bit me boy careers I bit me boy and found so we nurse we day na bit me boy now what me a DE no tax management account I mean can be still be DE especially in this fancy US system tax management account because in Kobase we make 50,000 now we pay a tax of 9,000 no be make 500,000 no we pay a tax cra then we sad so you can legally you say illegal legally so managing here now so to me 200 more to patch solution number is 703-981-1910. Ibit me about any financial advice, everything. So the kind of classes about static classes are about Buamo Sikasem sort me to 2 years. Because it will be broad my Juma NTB Ebeko. Upe Ebeko. Said the text that here now say I'm off with Diagra, I'm off with Juma vanishes. It's also to Tumika. Now be patch solutions. Get me bow or taxes. Or Juma payment and do so many things I bet me about. I'll call the friend saying patricssolutions@gmail.com. So I bet me send an email. Our website and also patricssolution.com. Also be more information on but a focus taxes. But say they make see a build the world, see it to see Casemi, especially America and also Western world tax a big part of it. And this is may no cry. You be wrong much to say I dream now and say, okay, you quote money about Yabeda, you quote money about we make you 50,000, we treat 15,000 taxes. Federal government in quite 9,000. Oh, share it is all shima, we make you 50,000, we treat 25,000. Half scan neighbor, half neighbor, and then because state so generic, local government so generic, so many of them are. So many taxes here and there. All of a sudden, be making 50,000. Now the 25,000 a coffee. And even Patrick Solutions near more. Now this year said the mechanics no tax say Iris Amayati say started a processing taxes this year or 26. It by bit of file say by entering processing all the way up to 26 and some started so my young baby. So party solution near more it your tax. And a topic to say the make was hidden taxes and hidden tax traps, the types of taxes nobody talks about. No, and you can't listen. He same time rana twice. And say a time last by a child grabber, but now, yes, I have a shit. Yo, a better Tiama, your taxes, summer to ye. Yama and Imre said him came with on ma, your quadrumania bania beda, your quadrumania bania beda, a tax drawer near file near co. You need any plan when it comes to taxes. But so episode the year, I will chrome her tax plan account, tax strategies, also who's animating. And you say you also move to beginning of the year no crash send I was start here and I was so ye. Sani money na BB was so with me. I only did Quadjuma Manoa Beda, Quadjuma Manoa Beda Taz also fire and I will be no fire and no where's our Uluska because sometimes there are so many scabby on my table so our woman especially this year the big beautiful bill. So many people, so many experts actually say this is the time I'm for cashing so much. But if you don't know what, better waiting a cashing, you need also we are. You know, then I may follow tax amount, and you may be one country, and I say I'm prepared earlier, unim, and TB Crana, Nanka, unim already, I got me prepare my Saturday, multimina. You know, it's my tax, and you be say my quiet, and that's my quid, my bad my no. I was set beginning of the year and war plan. Dear now, send me, dear no, send me, meet me and yam more. Said me can illegally with me and more. I won't hear so cocky, be pre illegally with me. Yet you also ye, yam also ye. It's me prepare it me more. Today, the tap on the BC, but like I said, it's now High Life Radio, Sham 7 p.m. You become more, you be going in depth, you be going in details about the crime be faswa, and then yama be bria. I become we fresh ones about become a bit me at the abway. Make sure you spend wisely, save intentionally, and be generous. So see you.